First, breaking news in the case of a mom who left her two kids in revolting conditions while she ran to the store to, well, just buy some cigarettes, of course. 30-year-old was arrested for child endangerment just hours ago. Take a look at this tape.
As far as I knew, she was a great mom. I don't really know what happened.
Being a mother of multiples is not as easy as everybody thinks.
The woman wasn't home, where investigators say the children had been found locked inside of a room that had only a single blanket and smelled of waste.
They had a pile of 5 blankets, unlike the story that has been told. There was only 1 blanket, there were 5 blankets.
When the door was unlocked, they discovered the 2 girls in a room without food or toys.
This is the lock that was on the girls' door. There was no padlock. It is a simple sliding lock.
Wow. Joining me tonight, HLN anchor Lynn Berry, Dean Obadala, CNN.com and Daily Beast contributor, Lonnie Coombs, former prosecutor and author of You're Perfect and Other Lies Parents Tell, and Emily Miller, senior editor of Opinion at the Washington Times, also author of Emily Gets Her Gun. Lynn Berry, I want to start with you. Give us the backstory on this. So many things she said made me jump out of my skin, like, oh, raising twins is easy.
Yeah, and how about this? It's just a lock. See, it's just a sliding lock. No big deal.
Just a barrel bolt.
Let's put this into context. Yeah. Let's put this into context. This is not mom's first brush with the law. The only reason all this happened is because probation officers were checking on her after a human trafficking charge. Back in June, she was caught with 8 illegal immigrants in her car. She admitted to police that she was going to get paid $500 for each person. So she was arrested. She was out on a pretrial. And, you know, also in 2011, there was a risk case that was open. She didn't go into detail as to why that was open. It was closed in 2012, but a risk case. This woman has been flagged before. Fast forward to now, and we see these 2-year-old little girls in deplorable conditions. And by the way, if she wants to blame this on being poor, you're buying cigarettes. Cigarettes are pretty expensive. Why don't you put that cigarette money aside and possibly save up for maybe money to pay for new beds for your children?
Dr. Drew, don't you have triplets?
Yeah, I have triplets, and let me tell you,
Did you lock them up?
Sure. Yeah, of course. I had a barrel bolt, and we had, we had rooms for punishment and discipline. No, you listen. When you have multiples, you have to contain them. I understand that, but you never let them out of your eyesight. That's absolutely insanity. But speaking of being within one's field of vision, I wish the viewers could see what I saw when Lynn was telling the details of the story, which is the puss on all of you guys. I'm going to start with Emily. You have a look at disbelief.
I mean, it's just, well, I mean, the sad thing is, Dr. Drew, is this happens every day all over the country, you know, child abuse. And, you know, I'm glad to see these children in protective custody now, but why did it take 2 years? I mean, we have 2 separate instances. She was caught human trafficking. And now the woman, I mean, the mother in all this video, she is not at all repentant. She doesn't think she's done anything wrong. Her children have no food, no food. And she's arguing when the reporter says their kids were naked or the police said that, she goes, they had diapers on. I mean, it's just, this woman, if she at least said I screwed up or I was tired, I was working late, or I messed up, but there's just no repentance, and hopefully she won't be getting her children back until she does some major changes in her life.
When she was asked about a previous Child Protective Services case from 2011, I believe Lynn mentioned that. Here is what she told reporters about that.
I got out of the hospital at noon. CPS was at my door at 5 o'clock. The CPS investigator asked, where's their formula? And I pulled out my breasts and said, this is formula.
It's when you listen to her talk, you got to shake your head, Dean. But I'll tell you what, anybody who's critical of Mama June, I'm telling you, Mama June is needs a Parent of the Year award. June. Yeah, compared to all this, Dean.
I agree with you, and this woman's not going to get Mother of the Year either. But before we jump too quickly, let's look at the real facts here. The fact that the authorities said the children have not been injured, they're fine, that's one good thing. Second, the alternative is to put the children in foster care. If you listen to the statistics for that, it's horrible. 40% of the people who go through foster care end up homeless, 60% end up in jail. They have a high unemployment rate, over 50%. So, you know, you have to look at the real facts here. If you see other clips of the mothers where I saw, she was caring, she was crying, she talked about the children, she talked about the Halloween costume that her sister made for the kids. It's not a woman who's like, I don't care about my children at all.
Hold on, Dean, because I've got, hold on.
I think it's beyond, things have gone too far for her.
Lonnie, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, and I appreciate what Dean is saying. I was a single mom for many years, and I know how hard it is to be able to take care of little kids and go to the store and handle all of that. And I do put a lot of credibility in the fact that they said that they were physically okay, that they didn't didn't look like they were underweight or that they were starving, that they seemed to be socially adaptable, that they play with the neighborhood kids. Those are all good things. However, to lock two little 2-year-olds in a room where you can't see them with a lock just because you're too lazy to watch them is not good parenting. And when you go on... I'm sorry?
The stranger part of the story, though, is it's not that she, first of all, she went to the store to buy cigarettes.
Right.
It's not like she went to the store to get milk, and she left them with her sister. So her sister was the one who was originally arrested because the sister was home, and she's the one who locked the toddlers in this room without food or water.
And that's what I do give the police a lot of credit, that they took 4 days to do this investigation. They didn't just do it hair trigger. They took 4 days to make sure that, look, there really is a history going on here, and these kids do need to be taken from the home, because that is a very serious step to make.
But yeah, Dean's point is, though, from out of the fire into the frying pan into the fire, right?
Right.
Well, that is the problem, but that's why they have to make it a balancing situation.
I appreciate you playing devil's advocate, and
she
there are
left him with his
plenty of
sister.
examples of
I'm
wonderful
not playing devil's advocate. This is what I believe.
Finish up, Lynn. Finish that thought.
You're telling the other side of it. But you can't say that a foster family would be a terrible thing, because there are wonderful foster families out there. And when you put a kid in a room that reeks of human waste and they're locked in there and they have no food and water, that's a difficult argument to make that they're best cared for by their parents.
There's no doubt, absolutely no doubt, that the foster care system in this country is very broken and things go really badly. And kids get in foster care have a very low high school dropout rate, very high dropout rate. However, as you said, there's just no way. Did you see this house that doesn't have windows on it? The mother's out smoking. She clearly doesn't have a job. She's already gotten a restaurant.
She's poor. We got that. She's at home taking care of the kids.
But she's going to jail for a long period of time, too.
And the strange thing,
you can't be uncaring to the fact that she's less fortunate.
She said the reason that your children shouldn't be in foster care is because the foster parents wouldn't know that one of the children has allergies, and she didn't specify what allergies, and that they wouldn't know that her daughters like their chocolate milk. It was like the strangest thing, as opposed to, I want my children back. I mean, it was just these vague, I mean, she just does not seem qualified right now to be taking care of these children.
I want to talk to the Public Information Officer for Liberty County, Texas, the Sheriff's Department, Ken DeFore. Ken, can you tell us the status of both the sister and the mom right now?
Yes, I certainly can. As was mentioned earlier, the sister, Amy Costello, was arrested Saturday and brought to the Liberty County Jail and booked in. She's presently on a $5,000 bond. After 2 or 3 days of continuing investigation, we issued a warrant of arrest today for the mother, Brandy Dominguez, and she was arrested about 1:20 p.m. this afternoon and is presently in our Liberty County Jail.
Captain, let me ask you this, and thank you for joining us. You have children yourself, yes?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And we're arguing about whether these children would be better off in foster care versus with their family of origin, with their mother, their biological mother. This seems to me as a very tricky issue. Do you have an opinion about that?
Well, needless to say, it's always better to have the parents take care, custody, and control of their children.
You hope so. You hope so, Captain. But
there
yeah,
are exceptions.
Many.
To where if they're not properly cared for, then obviously a foster home would be the better option.
What do you think is the situation here? Are you allowed to offer an opinion?
An opinion on which would be better in this particular set of circumstances would be premature right now, because CPS is presently conducting their investigation. They do have the children in their custody, and presently they are with a foster family until they can finish their investigation to determine if the mother is fit to take the children back.
Emily, I see you have a question. Is that for the captain? Yes.
Where is the father in all of this?
Good
the children's
question.
Father.
Great question.
We have the same question. We still don't have an answer to that.
Can we all, show of hands, can we all agree that that may be the core issue here?
Where's the father?
You know, when you look at dealing with multiples or dealing with children, there's a famous researcher by the name of Sroof up in the Northern Plains who always said, you know, he studied longitudinally the attachment of kids and their outcomes. And he said he could do one thing for a single mom, was to give them a supportive partner. And if you have twins, you're more than doubling down on that need. So, Captain, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you to the panel.